Good day and welcome to Business and Finance here on Echo Television International. I am Rachel Tanze. And in the bid to keep up with promises, we are seeing that the central bank governor, Cardoso, is carrying out gradually his monetary policy plans in the country, and one of which is the clearing of FX backlogs of over $7 billion. Now, we are seeing that one of the plans of the Central Bank of Nigeria is to see that we do not have foreign exchange backlogs, as they have been one of the reasons behind the fall in the naira, and then also scarcity in dollar, and then our reserves going down. Now, there have been MPC meetings, and then one of the agenda for the Central Bank of Nigeria governor is to see that we do not have forex backlog, that there have been legacy burdens, and then this is for valid transactions. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has announced that it has successfully cleared all valid foreign exchange backlogs, effectively eliminating a legacy burden. Now, this announcement was brought forward by the Acting Director of Corporate Communications, Mrs. Sidi, in a statement made available. Now, the CBN followed this month by reporting a significant increase in external reserves, rising by $993 million to $34.1 billion. Now, if we remember that one of the priorities also of the central bank is to see that our foreign reserves increase, because in recent years we have been seeing a drop. But we are starting to see in the year 2024 that there's an increase to our foreign reserves, and then the goal is to be at $35 billion. Now, we are seeing that there is a rising increase of over $993 million, which is amounting to 34.11 billion naira. This is as at 2 weeks past, now in the month of March. This is a report for the year 2024. Now, these have been the highest in 8 months. That is to say, the clearance of the FX backlog have pushed an increase in our forex inflow, and now we can see that our reserve is also appreciating. Now, we are seeing that notably the CBN recently completed the payment of $1.5 billion, resolving obligations to bank customers, thereby clearing the residual balance of the FX backlog. Now, these are all statements concerning what has been the plan of the CBN governor and what he is trying to do and achieve for the monetary policies of the country. Now, clearance of the foreign exchange transaction backlog is the part of the overall strategy detailed in last month's Monetary Policies Committee. Now, if we remember, ever since the central bank governor came in, there haven't been that much monetary policy meetings, and then we saw that which pushed in the MPR to as high as 22.75%, and there will be another meeting. It's in the process, and we are seeing that there is still going to be another increase in the MPR. But for now, let's focus on the clearance of the backlog. Now, Cardoso used the MPC meeting and a subsequent conference call with foreign portfolio investors to set expectation for sustained increases in Nigeria's foreign currency reserves and improve liquidity in the foreign exchange market. Now, we are having Cardoso speaking at a recent meeting underscore the importance of clearing the FX backlog, restore credibility and confidence in the Nigerian economy. And if this clearance of the backlog is solely the reason behind the appreciation in the naira currency, then yes, this is starting to restore the hope of Nigerians in the economy. Now, the clearance of the foreign exchange transaction backlog aligns with the strategy outlined during the last month's Monetary Policy Committee meeting. That is the first ever since the CBN governor stepped in. Now, we are seeing that this move is very drastic, fast, and quick. and 7 billion, of course, has to be verified transaction, and it started, and then the last, which was the residual, was 1.5 billion dollar. That is, even before the first meeting, we have been seeing moves. Now, this started even before the MPC meeting. The CBN governor kept on stating how he plans on clearing the FX backlog, and this include trap funds of airlines, where we saw some airlines coming out saying that they have not received anything, they've not received any clearance of backlog, money trap, and all of that. And now we are seeing that the CBN is emphasizing on valid transactions. So if your backlog have not been cleared, your transactions have not been valid. So validate your transaction, and probably you will be among the foreign backlogs that will be cleared. But so far, so good. Every valid transaction that the CBN is aware of have been cleared. Every backlog is cleared, and no wonder we are seeing an increase in the foreign reserve and some percentage, good, significant percentage increase in the currency of the naira as against the dollar. Now, which will push me to further asking, is the naira eventually or finally gaining some value? Is the free fall ending, or is it just something for a short period of time? Or are we looking at a long-term result, or is it just a temporary result of what is going on in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Now, we're seeing that following the clearing of all the valid foreign exchange backlogs by the Central Bank of Nigeria, an increased inflow at the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, the value of the naira gained significantly. We are looking at some days back, value rising from 1,536, which it closed at 1,384. Well, after the early hours of today, we are having it at a little bit above 1,400 to a naira. So in as much as there is an appreciation in the value of the naira as against the dollar, we are still seeing it not being stable or balanced, as the numbers keep fluctuating according to how the market closes in. Now, Cardoso is still insisting that making the clearance of the FX backlog a priority is to restore the credibility and, of course, the strength of the dollar. Because when we have more reserves, more availability of dollars, it means that there is no scarcity. And we know that one of the major challenges in the past as to the free fall of the naira value as against the dollar was the scarcity of the dollar currency, where we saw now that the Central Bank of Nigeria have decided to start operating or making dollar available to bureau de change operatives, in as much as there is a cash ceiling of how much they can have and how much they can exchange. Just 1% different as to what the central bank was selling to them, which is 1,300 naira to a dollar, and they can only have a profit of 1%. And we are hoping to see that these are all the major things that have been put in place by the Central Bank of Nigeria to see that our naira is gaining value as against the dollar. And so far, so good. We can say thumbs up to the CBN governor with the MPC committee for what they are doing and pushing forward to seeing that the naira is gaining some stability, and we are looking forward to no more free fall and only value gains. Now, we have a 2023 report to what oil brought in as revenue into the country, and we are seeing Shell saying that, well, Nigeria is one of the highest for year on year. Now we're looking at a span of 3 years. As of 2021, we were not the top, we were overtaking, but for 2023 we maintained the top position. We're looking at 2022 also, and so far so good. Nothing has changed. We are moving into 2024 and hoping that we will see tax, royalties, and then fees from oil major. Now let's look at the breakdown to how much has been attained year on year, looking at the report from 2022 down to 2023. Now we are seeing that the data show that the payment to Nigeria rose by 8.8% compared to 4.52 billion the previous year. that is 2022. This represented 16.67% of the company's total payment to 26 countries. So if we are among 23 countries that Shell is operating with, and we got 16.67%, then we are definitely the highest. Nigeria in 2022 dropped to the third biggest recipient, although its payout increased by 0.92% to $4.52 billion. The company's payment to the country skyrocketed to $6.39 billion in 2018, declined to $5.6 billion in 2019, and dipped further to $3.24 billion in 2020. According to the oil giants, payment made to government increased from activities involving the exploration, prospection, discovery, development, and extraction of minerals, oil, and natural gas deposit or other materials. Let's not forget rather that there were new oil discoveries in Nigeria last year. We are looking at that in Gombe, and we are looking at other solid minerals also. But yes, there have been oil exploration under the President Muhammadu Buhari's regime. That was somewhere in 2022 rather. Now this exploration is what further into 2023 made the oil revenue given to us by Shell to go high. So we're looking at royalties, and we're looking at other natural gas that are being discovered. Now the report also showed that the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission received about $727.85 million and $1.73 million for royalties and fees respectively from the multinational. The report also revealed that Shell remitted $139.99 million to the Niger Delta Development Commission. The data also showed that Shell paid fees amounting to $4.28 million to the National Agencies of Science and Engineering, Infrastructure, and $85,890 to Nigerian Police Trust Fund. So these are all the revenues that have been coming from Shell to Nigeria, different organizations. Apart from the government, we are seeing that the Niger Delta Commission received over $139.99 million. We are also seeing that even the Nigerian Police Trust Fund got $85,890 from Shell. So yes, this is a good amount of revenue coming. Then we are looking forward to more oil exploration. We're looking forward to more oil discovery in the country, and then eventually a boost in oil revenue and then crude oil production, as we are still struggling to meet our quota by OPEC. Now the MPC meets again. Yes, of course, there's a plan because we have the central bank governor not comfortable with the points that was added to the MPR, and there is a need to sit down. This is all in order to curb inflation in the country. Now, we are seeing that at the first meeting, there was just a 400 basis point increase that took the MPR to 22.75%. Now, we are having different members of the MPC committee giving the prediction to what will be added to the current base point to give a new MPR. And we are seeing that, well, the president and the governor, Cardoso, had wanted it to be at 450 base point, but then, of course, it's a committee. There has to be an agreement, and they stopped at 400. And then moving on, we are seeing that committee members, different, are speculating that there might be over 200 base point increase. That is, we could see an increase from 400 to over 600 base points. And others are saying, well, it might not be up to that amount. It could be just 150 base points, so that we get to the point where the central bank governor thinks that this base point is good enough for us to be able to curb inflation. And the goal is to see, well, we are having headline inflation now at over 31%. The goal for the central bank is to see it as low as 21%. And looking at the value in our currency as it is now, with the other things that the central bank is doing, we are hoping to see that inflation is being curtailed. So not only is it at a standstill, but then it is no longer increasing but falling down to a manageable amount of we're looking at 21%. That is the goal of the central bank, the MPC committee, precisely, and what they are seeing as the future of inflation rate in the country. So yes, there is most likely going to be an increase in the MPR at the end of the meeting. Now, manufacturers are losing. We're looking at forex exchange, and then we are seeing a loss of over 566%, and it's amounting to billions of naira. Now, this is another 2023 report where we are starting 2024. So most report of what has happened, most especially in the last quarter, and what businesses, manufacturers closed in. And we have just seen that of Shell when it comes to royalties, tax for oil. And now we are going to see what manufacturers made loss according to some of the FX crises for the year 2023. Now, a review of the performance of the multinational corporations and indigenous firms. This is as at the last quarter of 2024-23. We are looking at December, have shown a recorded combined foreign exchange, have shown that they recorded a combined foreign exchange loss of 792 billion naira due to naira depreciation caused by the monetary policy reform. Yes, we remember that at the end of 2023, we were looking at a free fall in the exchange. I mean, we were just continuing with the free fall at the first quarter of 2024, but it started in 2023. And there was foreign exchange scarcity, dollar scarcity precisely. And this is the reason why we have manufacturers at the last quarter of 2023 losing 792 billion naira. Now, however, it looks like there is some hope starting 2024. Not for the first quarter, but obviously going into the second quarter, looking at the appreciation of the naira currency as against the dollar, and there is no longer foreign exchange scarcity, as we have seen the measures put in by the Central Bank of Nigeria to make sure that there is a forex inflow where there will be dollars available to marketers, in as much as other things have been put in place. But yes, there will be dollars available because now Bureau de Change operators have a limit. And now we're looking at closing in the difference when it comes to the parallel market and then the official market, where now if the BDCs are getting at 1,300 to a dollar from the Central Bank of Nigeria, they cannot sell back to businesses. And we are looking at manufacturers here precisely with they can sell it with above 1% interest. So now it's giving manufacturers availability of this dollar and not at exalted exchange rate. So nobody is going to be extorted precisely, and then there will be enough foreign exchange available for marketers. Now, trading at the Nigeria Autonomous Foreign Exchange showed that the naira gained following last week disbursement of 1.5 billion. Yes, this is still in line with the clearance of the FX backlog. So we are seeing that all the measures that the central bank are putting in place, not only is there an appreciation to the currency, our naira currency, but we are seeing that manufacturers may be moving in to the second quarter of the year 2024 optimistic. The first quarter was a little bit rough. This appreciation is just recorded for the month of March. We have to wait and see. But as long as there can be stability from the Central Bank of Nigeria to what the exchange rate will be as it is now, then manufacturers can walk into the second quarter of the year 2024 with some hope that, first of all, the naira has gained some significant amount of value as against the dollar, and then there is availability of the dollars when it is needed for transaction directly from the Bureau de Change operators and also from commercial banks. Thank you for keeping a date with me today on Business and Finance. Till I come your way next time, goodbye.